Hey everyone, it's Linnea for LDRS Creative, and today we are going to be making a super quick, super simple card using the Flower Doodles stamps, dies, and layering stencils. I love the card that I'm going to make today because it can be easily remade into a whole set of cards. If you just switch up the color schemes, or even if you keep it the same, you can put a set of these cards together super quickly and give them as a gift, or even if you need to send out a bunch of cards for any reason. So I've gone ahead and I've stamped the Flower Doodle stamp. That is one large stamp that's going to stamp all of those floral images. And I stamped a sentiment as well while I had my stamping tool out. And now I'm just going to use the Flower Doodles layering stencils and add various colors of ink to these flowers. I started with Soft Kisses and then Fandango for my dark and light pinks. I have Dandelion for the centers of the flowers, and then for the greenery, the leaves and the stems, I'm using Olive Branch, and then Four Leaf for my darkest color. I sped up this blending quite a bit because there's nothing fancy. I just used the alignment guides on the stencils to make sure that I had everything lined up, and honestly, stamping first makes it super easy because you can easily see the outline too. I then took the coordinating Flower Doodles dies and I lined them up. Again, one stamp, one die is going to cut out all of these images, and I have the sentiment die as well. I'm going to pop those out of my cardstock, and then I just have a little dish that I'm going to keep them in while I work on the remainder of my card. I now have the circle spotlight stencil, and you can see here that there are grid lines on this stencil as well. So you can line up multiple sizes of cardstock and you can line them up in the vertical format like I'm doing, or horizontally. I'm just going to line this up so that that circle is right in the center of my card, and then I'm grabbing a blending brush and Little Boy Blue hybrid ink, and I'm going to just blend this ink all over this spotlight circle, keeping the blue darker at the edges to give it almost a shadow effect. You'll see that in a second when I remove the stencil. See how it's darker around the edge? It makes it look like there's a natural shadow there. This is really it for the card. I'm just going to grab my colored Flower Doodles images and I will arrange them on the front of my card how I want them to be. I'm going to just place these here and then I'll show you my trick. It takes me the longest time to arrange my images. That's probably the part of the card that takes me the longest. So once I have them where I want them to be, I want to remember that. And taking a picture is okay, but I much prefer to take a piece of low-tack tape and pick up those die cuts together, and then I'll add little dots of glue where they overlap. That way I can work with one large, almost like an ephemera piece, rather than three individual die cut images. I added some foam tape only to the tops of the flowers so that the stems and leaves would be adhered flat down onto my card, but the flowers would pop up almost like they're kind of coming out of the ground. And then I added some foam behind my sentiment, and this card is finished. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye!